2010 Winter Olympic venue, Whistler in British Columbia in Canada. We're on the west coast of the country on what is turning into a bit of a blustery Saturday afternoon. It's the opening race weekend of the BMW IBSF World Cup, and it is the first of two heats for the women's bobsleigh competition. Hello everybody, welcome to beautiful BC. I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me trackside is John Morgan at the fastest track on the planet.
Boy, we've seen some racing already here so far, three competitions, and the racing has been excellent. This track, the fastest on the planet, open for the 2010 Winter Olympic Games, and it just is a challenging place for the athletes. Look at the old start record here. That's around since the 2010 Games. The two gold medalists, Humphries and Moyes. Okay, out of curve one, he drops off 7 stories. You know, and then, of course, you gotta let the sled accelerate away. And as you get into these top curve 4, there's been a couple accidents up here all the way in the Exeter Wedge. And now 70 miles an hour. A couple of the first big sweeping turns. Luder's Loop, you can't loop it twice. You gotta be consistent. A little straightaway, it's a chicane, it's not straight. A lot of problems in there for everybody so far in these 3 races. Links, well, you're going 80 now. Still accelerating. Shiver, well, they might be shivering, the athletes, when they get to this point, because 50-50, then into Gold Rush, fastest part of the track. Now into Thunderbird, 4.5 plus G's. Boy, it just comes at you so fast. 93.5 miles an hour fast last night in the men's competition.
And it's not just the high speed, it's the way that the driver is so busy on this track. So many demanding corners, should be just as demanding, 10 or 15 miles an hour slower. As you can see, it's a little bit cloudy around the top of this Whistler Blackcomb Mountain complex. Alana Myers, like everybody else, busy warming up. Ice temperature down at -1.4. It was very quick this morning in the men's skeleton encounter. Yesterday was snowy and drizzly, so the ice was a little sticky, a little slower. There's Anya Kay. She'll be racing for Great Britain. In fact, she won't be in the British sled. She'll be the alternate, but keeping warmed up anyway. Whole host of new names to conjure with, not just new brake women coming into the competition, new drivers that have not made World Cup starts before. And for the first time ever, there will be not 1, but 2 sleds from Korea in the women's field. There's your Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries. So happy memories for her on this track. The Canadian taking the first of her 2 Olympic gold medals here, of course, in February 2010. And it's that 2-day run of success that still sees her with a track record. Well, the Koreans are first on the ice. Rookie Christine de Bruyne from Canada. She's not made a World Cup start either yet in her career. She will go off 3rd. Kaylee Humphries 5th. Maria Constantin of Romania. Only one of the 2 Romanian sleds running, and only one of the 2 German sleds. Stephanie Schneider cracked her shoulder in a crash, and Angia Greco of Romania, the 2nd of the Romanian bobsled drivers, didn't complete enough successful runs during training to qualify to race in the World Cup. A momentous day for Korean bobsledding here in Whistler. Their, quote, home from home, because Kim Yoran and Kim Min-seong make the first ever appearance at the top level for a Korean women's bobsled, and they are one of a pair in this race.
Well, if they're anything like men's skeleton, where they just won the competition, they had 2 sleds in the top 6 last night, 2-man bob, and the Korean program keeps rolling along.
This is a big step forward for their women's program as well. There are 5 disciplines in the ice sliding bobsleigh skeleton family, and they are now represented at the top level in 4 of them.
It's amazing how quickly this program is, especially the women. They were sliding 3 years ago, I think.
Yep.
There they are at the senior circuit.
Their first steps on ice came at the beginning of the year 3 years ago, 2013. So they've done North America's Cup and European Cup races. Now for the very first time, the World Cup.
This could be the fastest she's ever been down this track.
Yeah, she was late in 50-50, but just got away with it and successfully completes her first ever World Cup trip.
89.7 miles an hour. That's pretty fast.
Well, this is the step up, excuse me, this is a step up to the big leagues, isn't it, for the Korean girls? And they're a very young team of sliders as well. Average age is just 23.
Okay, watch the crossover. Does she hit coming in? The take on, yeah, pushes her way to the middle of the curve, and when that happens, that's the 50-50 curve. When that happens, the back end of the sled comes up. She's got to drive into the middle of the curve and then has to yarn it off really hard, and curve's a lot more forgiving than it was 3-4 years ago.
Now, that may be one of her not so impressive trips down here. I can certainly understand if the two Korean drivers are feeling an awful lot of nervous tension here. They've never raced in front of cameras before and all the other paraphernalia.
There's Korean TV crews all over the mountain.
Lee Seong-hee and Shin Miran, her brake woman.
See what they do.
Lee is only 22 years old.
5:36, 5:48. Good exit there. Very quiet, steering. Up top, looks really good. She's 1800s down for her teammate, but she was 1200s down at the start.
Let's see if she can get a good run out of 50-50 coming up.
Speed's good.
Good exit, and nicely on to 7.
This is really quiet. Showing 2000s down, and that's the wrong side of that straightaway.
Yeah, but smooth through 9 and 10. She's carrying the speed with her.
Watch 50-50.
Closing.
Nice.
Back down to 1400s. This is going to be very close between the two Korean sleds.
Coming. Good speed. 190.5. Better speed. She's coming to
Touch
finish. She
ahead.
got her.
Has the lead. 53.84. She came from 1200s back at the start to 800s in front.
Wow. First time we've seen them. That's a great drive.
That was a good-looking run. There was not too many mistakes and no panic. She knows this track well.
You know, as we know, the Koreans are some of the best golfers in the world. They dominate the women's tour because they're so meticulous, they're so precise, they're so consistent. Those are the stuff that you have to bring, the energy you have to bring to the bobsled world.
They got a smile on her face as well. She
should.
knew that was a good one.
Ivo Delanovic, their coach, the famous Czech bobsled driver.
Now another World Cup rookie. Her husband was racing yesterday, Ivo de Bruyn. Now Christine de Bruyn. Ivo races for the Netherlands, Christine for Canada, with Geneviève Thibault behind her. Geneviève we saw breaking last year, but Christine making her World Cup debut. Coach Graham Richardson behind. Whoa, a little bit of a false start. Reset, okay, here we go. Plenty of time. It's a combination, you know, every other race they've ever been at, it's been almost silent at the start. Now there's noise and lights and cameras. It's just a little disorientating. 5:27, that was a good getaway. Start record is 5:11, all-time start record.
Brakeman's from Quebec City. She's a water engineer.
Geneviève made her debut last year for Team Canada.
Track and field and a rugby sevens background.
I think Christine's driven 4-man sleds as well. She's just not raced at the World Cup level up until now.
Her biggest complaint being on the team, nobody can pronounce her name correctly.
Geneviève Thibault, what's the trouble?
It was late there. Watch out here.
Oh, and hangs it out, but gets away with it. Well, she's gone from 3/10 up to 1700s behind.
This could be second.
And a big long slide up to the line.
Wow. She had a better start than either Korean sled, but she did not have the smooth lines down the track, and she'll be the first one to tell everybody that.
Well, with a 14 sled field, everybody is guaranteed a second trip, so she'll have time to correct those issues, turn them around in her head. And again, understandable if she's feeling a little nervy for the first race in the World Cup season.
Here's the mistake into shiver.
Yeah, that was a big
bang,
one.
and then she comes to the middle of the curve, then she's got to steer hard, and then to the 50-50, she's struggling down here, bang. Now into the middle of the curve, and they'll show us the next shot. Watch this. Look at the articulation on the sled, just pretty well maxed out, and but she's through and down.
So the girl from Edmonton, there she is, helping move the sled. Next up for Russia, Nadezhda Sergeyeva, brand new brake
Look
woman.
at that. You see that? They almost went.
Now, are they not
The track
hearing?
was not clear. Well, they got the green and red in front of them. There's the
but it's stopped. They have stopped the clock. They're going to reset it. Yes, clock is 0, and the red light is on. So Nadezhda with a new brakewoman, whose name I'm going to mangle, Anastasia Koshetsova.
Nice job, Martin.
Yeah, sounds okay to us. Sure, mum and dad won't be best pleased, but Nadezhda Sergeyeva.
That start time, 5:20.
Yeah, good.
Watch the exit. A little bit of a skid. She, with her experience, she's got way more experience than the other 3 athletes that have come down. She's got 4 tenths in the bank already and should be the leader. But, you know, this Whistler track, we've seen Francisco Friedrich on his victory lap last night almost tip over at curve 14-15.
Sergeyeva didn't race here in January. The Russians didn't come to North America.
Watch out, roll. She was late. She got through that 9, 10, 11 combination. She's pulling away a little bit.
Yep.
Nice.
4,400s ahead of Lee of Korea.
Check the speed out. That's top speed. She's going to be 88.9. She's not the best speed of anybody.
Yeah. Lower speed than a Hyundai sled.
That's how come she went from 4,500s back to 30.
So Nadezhda Sergeyeva.
She lost a lot of time at the bottom. She had a 4 tenths lead up there above Shiver.
Yeah.
And doesn't look like she made too many driving errors, but Korean sleds,
Yeah.
fast
Sleds
on the
were
bottom.
flying, weren't
On
they?
the bottom. Here's the, watch the wrong side of the straightaway. Now watch, she goes in the middle there cleanly, but then she has to really steer and steer hard off that curve. And this is where the 4,500s, the speed started going away.
There she is, and Anastasia, her brakewoman. She has the lead of the race, and using one of the recent Valna sleds. So it's quick enough.
Oh boy.
2010, February, Olympic gold medal, the first of her career for Kaylee Humphries on this track. This is really one of the high points of her career, this Whistler track. And of course then went on to double that gold medal tally in Sochi in Russia. She's got Cynthia Appiah behind her on the brakes this week. Again, the Canadian program still attracting lots of top flight athletes.
First time we've seen Kaylee with this brakeman. In, down, quick, should be a great start. Track record!
Oh my goodness, that has stood since the Olympic Games.
Kaylee Humphries and Heather Boyce in 2010. 6-year-old record just gone.
Yeah, Heather Boyce just inducted into Rugby Canada's Hall of Fame recently.
We should see perfect lines here, and I don't want to jinx her, but you know, girls got it all. Multiple world champions, multiple Olympic gold medal titles.
Little left going into 9, but she sewed 9 and 10 together so nicely that you would never have known it. The little run, 2100s.
Let's see, she gets to get the 90-mile-an-hour speed. She does 90.2. 2,700s ahead. Perfect exit under the second best speed of anybody. 3,500s lead. Broken start record. Well,
yeah,
that's what those records are for, to be broken.
High five between Stefan Bosch and Graham Richardson.
6 years and 10-month-old record.
February 24th. Was that the first pair of heats or the second day of competition? I forget now.
Well, she blew everybody away at the start. Everybody thought she was going to have a bad heat and lose the gold medal. She did. And she came from behind in the 4th heat 2 years ago in Sochi to win the gold medal, and sitting in the leader's box when Alana Myers couldn't match her time. And, well, you know, she's the queen of women's bobsledding since the inception in 2002. No one's done better than Kaylee Humphries.
Well, for Romania next, Maria Adela Constantine with Olivia Francisca Wild, her brakeman. Kaylee Humphries is the race leader from Nadia Sergeyeva, and Lee of Korea in 3rd. New brakewoman, new to the team, Olivia Wild, originally born in Hungary, now has her home in Romania. You see Andrea Grecu there in a white hat. She should have been driving the second sled, but didn't complete enough trips down to qualify for today's race. She will go to Lake Placid next week to try it all again to make her World Cup debut as a driver. Nice load from the brakewoman, her first ever World Cup start. 5:37 getaway.
5th of 6 teams at the start.
Well, Sonia Lee, who was slower, the second of the Koreans to make their debut, lies in 3rd position. So the start may not be everything. So where Constantine can find a nice drive.
Good pilot. You see her sometimes that she was the 4-man women's world championships last year. So she can drive. A lot of steering though, 9-10. Oh, she's going to hit hard here.
Ahead of Christine de Bruin of Canada at the moment.
Makes that look easy though, 50-50. Speed gets up to 140. She gets up to 86.9 and she's going to fall back behind both Korean sleds.
6th position. There's Paul Bianco, the coach. Angela Greco with the white hat. So 54-46 slide. And can you guess where the sled has been borrowed from? Just by the livery on the side of it there. Their own equipment will be back home in Europe.
Look at this. Down, up, centrifugal force, then bang, and now she's in the middle of the curve. Now you're going into 85-mile-an-hour speeds into 50-50. Does she get through here in the take-on nice? Yes. Doesn't have any issues there. Perfect entry and exit there, but just didn't have a great start, didn't have great speed.
There is Maria Adela, and here is perhaps Kaylee Humphries' biggest challenger on this track. It is Alana Myers-Taylor of the USA. She has Kerry Jones behind her to start the season. New influx of brakewomen, but also some of the girls that raced last year have picked up little injury niggles. Kerry Jones on the back of the #1 US sled.
Baylor University track and field athlete.
And check out Alana's shoes, made by her husband, Nick Taylor. See if the camera pans down to those. Hello, Dorothy. This is not the yellow brick road.
Well, 5:09 start the Canadians just had. I bet you Alana Myers heard that, and if there's anybody who's going to challenge Humphries to start, right there!
Oh my goodness! It's been in place for 6 years. It's been broken twice in 6 minutes.
The U.S. team has got some athletes. I mean, Lolo Jones is a spare in this race.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable athletes the U.S. have got in their camp.
And with the headlines that they make, with the race success they have, it attracts more athletes.
Boy, she's flying. She's got a big quarter-second lead, but Humphries was perfect on the bottom, and this is late. She came off that curve lane. Watch her at 50-50. Watch out!
Oh, and she's gone. 3600s in front, and Kerry Jones is flung out.
They're both out, aren't they?
No, I think Alana is buried under the cowl. There's Kerry Jones.
Just was probably somebody should grab her and sit her down.
That's a brutal get out for Kerry Jones. She didn't let go. She was thrown out of the sled. And when you hit the ice at 75 miles an hour, that is going to ring your bell.
Well, at that pace she was on, she was 2500s, 3000s ahead at that point.
3600s in front.
And that was definitely the fastest she's been down this track.
Yep. Alana's had the wind knocked out of her as well, but all her thoughts now will be for brakewoman Kerry Jones. They will do. There's Kerry. That's why they all wear the gum shields, the helmets. There is no other protection. Lycra doesn't do much for you, but...
Okay, now watch these pictures. This is where the trouble starts, 50-50. Look how low she is in the curve. Look at how she couldn't get over.
No, she had a big hit going
now watch the sled go in the middle. Look, she's almost steering to the right.
No, it just knocked it so sideways.
No chance. No chance here.
And Kerry Jones, the impact as the sled comes down and hits the ice, she's already, because it's upside down, tipping out of it.
Well, her mistake, though, too, if they go up above, the mistake she made up there in 10 and 11, the sled got away from her in 11.
Yeah. The sled rights itself. Unfortunately for Kerry, she could not hang on.
And I wonder if she ejected or she got thrown out. I probably got thrown out.
When it came back down, she was already halfway out of the sled, and bang, that just broke her grip.
So there'll be a track hold here, but if they could show us up there 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
That's where the sled got away from her. On the exit of 10, she looped 11 before Shiver. And that's where she got in trouble. You know, her mistake at 50-50 was the eventual crash, but the mistake was made up on the exit of 11.
Well, Kerry Jones is smiling, and that's good news, but look at the
There's
damage to
carbon
the sled.
fiber.
Yeah.
There's some carbon fiber.
And take a look inside. Look, there is no seat, there is no seat belt. There, you're hanging onto the tiniest little metal hook in the floor with a couple of fingers at best, trying to support your own weight at 70 miles an hour as you get inverted. You know, we talk about going through a tumble dry, don't we? You know, how many surfers stay on their board when they get dumped? None.
Look at this. Now, here's a mistake. We're going to go loop, go down, watch her come back up. Now this thing, she gets pushed way over in the middle. So she has to steer way hard there. When she steers way hard there,
it's the hit
she
here.
comes off and then into 50. So her mistake was made 150 yards back up the track that she couldn't catch up. But she probably was going faster than she's been down the track all year.
And you're going so fast that if you're late in one corner, it compounds itself. It's where she gets pushed away here, it actually knocks the steering, so it exaggerates that effect.
We don't have the score in front of us. Sorry, they wiped that clean, but she was 25 hundredths ahead.
On the previous split, 3600s.
36
going
hundredths
away.
ahead.
Yeah.
So she would have been the leader, maybe only by a tenth or something, because on the bottom part of the track.
Off the fastest start ever made on this track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
They say she is a pocket rocket.
She is.
Look at the problems in the track now.
Yeah.
So they got to take some slush out. They got to that slush. Okay, they're going to apply that, spray it again. That's a lot of grooves there in the exit of 50-50.
And the problem is that it's like tram lines. If somebody's coming down and the front runners get into that groove, it just snatches all control away, and suddenly you're a 70-mile-an-hour passenger.
Boy, if they could give us, there's the jury talking about it, the track commission.
2 minutes to start. 2 minutes to start.
Fair. We're not going to be starting in 2 minutes because there's still debris in the track. They're still slushing up the holes on the exit of 11. We will not be having another sled down within the next couple of minutes, I don't think. The good news is that Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones walked away from that one. But it's a high-speed get-off when you crash here in Whistler.
Well, you know, she's going faster than she's been on the track, probably ever. Broke the track record that was just broken. It was 7 years, almost a 7-year-old record that Kaylee Humphries broke, and then Alana came right out and broke it and was, you know, 35 hundredths ahead at the point she crashed. And you can't practice for record speed.
No, that's for sure.
And that's they're at, you know, on their personal best of the season.
And listen, you don't win anything by taking it easy. Nobody's relaxing here. Nobody's just along for the ride. This is for every 100th of a second you can possibly find.
And now the question is, what does this do to the mental psyche of the rest of the females?
Well, and particularly for the next sled. Kaylee Humphries is our race leader. She's down and clean, but the next sled on ice will be Brittany Reinbold. Very limited World Cup experience. She's only started, I think, 1 or 2 races in the World Cup, and she's just seen her teammate crash out on a record run. So they now have to ponder that for probably an extra 10 minutes longer before they get to the start.
You know, just think of a hockey rink, and or think of gouges in any kind of ice rink. You go in there and you patch it with this slush, mixture of some snow and some water, and they patch it, you know, and then they got to give it 4 or 5 minutes for it to set, because you don't want to catch a runner into that soft ice.
No, that'll stop you dead.
Well, once I've done it, it'll damage the runner for sure.
Yeah. Richard Laubenstein just in the center of the shot, the man who is the mechanic, the engineer for all these sleds. The Bodine sleds, the BMW sleds that the USA team use. Just like me, finished his summer career. He's a race car mechanic as well. And you can see the track crew here working in 15. That's just about the fastest part of the track. 16 Thunderbird was where they hit the maximum speed, so that's 80+ miles an hour in these sleds. Team conferring with the jury at the top. So The plotter in the grey USA cap. And a great view here of, John, just how close the fans are. You know, you go to auto racing, you could be 30, 40, 50, 100 meters away from the track. Here, it's not even that many inches. You watch these things thunder past at 80 miles an hour and you feel the air move.
Look at all the U.S. coaches out here,
Yeah.
and they're talking to Peter Fischer on the right, the tall guy on the right. He's from Switzerland. He is the president of the jury. Joost Matley, the other blue jacket, he's the head of sport for the IBSF. And then you got Brian Scheimer, and there's Mike Dion.
Yep.
Sepp Plaza into the picture there, the Swiss coach who coaches the U.S. drivers. There's discussion points there. And, of course, there's, next up, as you said, there's U.S. sled right in the line. And again, what does that do to the mental psyche? I mean, this is where I think there's a lot more sports psychologists in the sport.
Yeah.
You know, and
rightly so.
And
rightly so. Yeah, for Brittany Reinbold, she at least has made World Cup starts before, but her brakewoman, Brianna Jones, 2 months ago, she was at UNC in North Carolina with no intention of doing this for her winter. She's been part of the US program for a couple of months. And in fact, if you look in the glass wall there, you can see the athletes staying warm. You see the Russians in there. You can see, I saw Christina Hengster out pacing up and down with her helmet on. But certainly Brittany Reinbold and Brianna Jones are in there right now staying warm.
The US coaches, or the US team, trains in Lake Placid. That's a challenge there. There's some people that have some crashes there too, so that's part of the sport. You know, it's just that these two tracks to start off the season. After that, then you go to Winterberg, which Winterberg's very, not easy, but you know, it's very easy to get down. It's just tough to get down fast. There's Peter Fischer talking to one of the officials about just getting an update.
Yeah.
You know, and the track crew, which, you know, you just can't have anybody go fix these gouges. You have to have some people that are experienced. And the crew here, you know, they know what bobsleds can do when they go upside down.
I'll tell you what else, talking to the bobsled drivers, to the skeleton sliders over the last few days during training, they said this track is in absolutely A-grade condition. This is Olympic standard right now. So we're just seeing fastest ever pair of women's bobsleigh starts in history being made.
I mean, the athleticism in the women's field, the Canadians have brought great more athletes in. The Americans are, again, really deep. You know, we saw it in the men's program too. I mean,
well, you can see the athletes are in the little officials building there at the top. You can see the colours of Russia. Alexandra Rodionova, there she is. And there's the American girls. Brittany Reinbold with the visor on in the centre of the shot.
Richard Lobenstein, who manages all those sleds, came from Penske Racing, took over the U.S. program in 2014, 13-14 season, does a fabulous job for the U.S. program. Now this is curve 14, so this is where the sled was still upside down, and you saw the damage into that carbon fiber, and that's probably what you know, the point of that sled. Well, they're clearing it pretty quick here. Wow.
Here we go. So closest to us on the right of your shot, Brittany Reinbold and Brianna Jones. Talking to Brianna when she came in for her headshot the other day, 24-year-old from UNC. I said, how did you get into this? Because everybody's got a different story. It was her track coach. I said, oh, who does he know? Coach Scheimer. Her track coach, Bob Olsen, was on the 98 US Olympic team with Brian Scheimer. So there's your direct link. Never mind 6 degrees of separation. That was 1 degree of separation.
I remember, I think it was Robert Olsen was his real name. Tall, 6'3", and I think he slid a lot with Scheimer's teammate Herbert, but we'll check with Scheimer after this. But
there
Olsen,
you go,
he was a great track and field athlete. You know, that's when the U.S. had the best start times. And here's our next athletes.
That's coach to coach. Brittany Reinbold, a flying instructor. Let's hope she doesn't need those aviating skills here now. So long delay in this first heat after the crash for Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones. And I know husband Nick Taylor will be watching. I'm sure he will be hoping that Alana is as happy and healthy as she looked to be.
So I don't think we're going to see a 5:10 start. Probably a 5:17, 5:18 or 5:20.
Good clean start from the two girls.
Exit here, the runner tips, skid. Ridiculous out that curve one.
Well, everything about this track demands precision, doesn't it? The slow regions, because you can give away so much speed, and the fast regions because they're so fast.
Dunk onto the nail. All right,
Real tough transition onto that curve, and she's late there too.
All right.
A nice straightaway. That's a nice straightaway. This is where Alana Myers had to slide get away from her right here. Watch out here again.
No,
Nice.
Controls the exit.
50-50. Great.
Down the Gold Rush Trail. This is looking better. All right, so it may not challenge Kaylee Humphries, but it's going to be a
90.9 miles an hour. This is pretty good
Third
speed.
place at the
Hard hit.
moment.
Oh, she lost a lot of time right
Third
there.
place at the line. That's a good run from Brittany Reinbold.
Boy, she lost a lot of time. She might not have caught the Russian Sergeyeva, but she lost 1000s, 1500s, hitting that wall, coming uphill to the finish line that last 40 meters.
Well, there you go. First trip down for Brianna Jones.
I bet you they take a deal sigh
Oh,
of relief.
no kidding.
After
No
the
kidding.
last 20 minutes, 15 minutes, what they just went through with their teammates crashing.
Yep.
Here, now watch the transition here. Watch the hard turn. Look at that. I mean, that looks like she got in the middle of the curve, steered, and now watch this up and down. We thought she was going to hit the wall like Alana Myers did. That was a rough exit or outlet of the curve. But here, bang, and now she's skidding sideways coming uphill. And you talk about erasing some time, but still at the bottom.
Good job, Brittany Reinbold. After a 15-minute hold, when the benchmark in your nation has just crashed, she got it down safe and quick. Alexandra Rodionova with a familiar face on her brakes. Yulia Shokshweva. Yulia now a third-year Russian brakewoman.
Look at the stride. Look at her stride.
Rodionova was a hurdler, wasn't she? A 400-meter runner. 5:25, that's a decent start.
Little skid of the exit.
Alexandra Segova, her teammate, is lying in second place.
She's 3/10 back.
At the moment, this is a fourth place run.
Not bad. How's this? Watch the transition, the helmets. Good. Now watch the exit here. Is she going to come down the right side of this straightaway?
Oh,
No, middle,
little
little skid.
But she was trying to get the line right onto 9 and 10.
Looping here. Watch the exit. Look at the hedge. Whoa. She's going to get pushed in the middle. She was airborne. Watch out. Oh!
How did she hang on to that? She saw the danger, just managed to wriggle out of it.
A lot of Robin Hood there.
Yeah.
Through and down. That was another.
Fourth, 6100s. Not bad. Fourth best
200s
start
behind
time.
Brittany Reinbold. Well, the track may not quite have the perfection in the surface that it did for the first 5 or 6 sleds.
She had a pretty good exit of the finish curve compared to Brittany Reinbold.
She had a pretty good go at taking the Alana Myers-Taylor line off the turn
I'm
as well.
sure they're going to show us some 50-50 pictures where it was very dicey. Watch it. Look how high she is there. And then this tap. Yeah, she gets thrown into the middle. When you get thrown in the middle of 50-50, look at the adjustment. Watch the heads. Look at that skid. Whoa. Look at this. Now watch the articulation.
Yeah.
That's airborne. Sleds not in contact. All 4 runners were with the ice there. They were air. She knows.
There's Anastasia on the right. Alexandra rather. And Yulia Shokshweva. Next up, Christina Hengster of Austria with Sanna Decker behind her. Sanna formerly slid in the Youth Olympics for the Netherlands. And Christina Hengster, what a season this woman had last year. Last 2 seasons, really, since she came back to the World Cup.
Then at the World Championships on her home track where she had great hope. She crashed in the first heat. Give her credit though, she came out and competed and moved up into the top 7 or 8. The last 3 hits, she finished intact when she crashed, but it was like a quiet. That was late there. She is a very accomplished driver.
Yeah, she spent a couple of years away from the World Cup. When she came back at the beginning of the year, 2 seasons ago, she was just grabbing this second chance with everything she had, and she's really blossomed, and she's late.
Watch out here.
And again, she's late, but not as late.
Speed.
141, 145 maybe at the bottom.
89.2. This is top 2. Nice.
1800s off the lead from Kaylee Humphries.
She got beat by 1600s at the top of the track and only by 18 at the bottom. That tells you that Christina Hengster can drive.
Yep.
Good equipment. And one of the things I'm talking about, the Austrian program, the men's program's on the way up, and the women are complementing the men.
Yep.
Well, this
late exit.
We've seen these pictures. Bang into the middle, hard steering. Oh, she hits before she gets to 50-50, and now she has to deal with what 50-50 is going to let her to do on the outlet.
She controlled it well, though. She didn't panic. She
No,
managed
she
to get on.
One more.
Listen, you know, excitement and relief.
Boy, he's...
You asked a couple of these brakemen, Torsten Margis yesterday, I said, did you know he nearly crashed? You said, yeah, I knew. Kaylee Humphries leads 1800ths ahead of Christina Hengster. Nadezhda Sergeva in the medals at the moment. 10 sleds down, and next up are Misha and Mika. Misha McNeil and Mika Moore, her new brake woman.
That's not
Christian
fair.
names spelt the same way. Come on.
Look how low she is. Count. 7 step. Watch
31 getaway.
Had a rough week of training.
A couple of crashes, but she got enough safe trips down to complete the contest.
4 trips down, she only need 2.
They've had a good season so far. North America's Cup, they've had
really
3
good.
silvers and a bronze medal, Misha.
Ooh, she was like almost airborne into that curve. That's hard there. Ooh, not a good skid there. Okay, now this is where it gets dicey on this track. Watch out on the outlet. Not bad. She's positioned well there. Should be okay.
Yep, good exit.
Look how
Keeps
low
the
she
speed
is.
up.
Look
8th
how-
place at the moment.
Speed, 87.8.
Not have the best choice of runners on for today's temperatures. Across the line, 8th place.
8100's back.
Well, I know that Mika's boyfriend Curtis will be watching back home in Cardiff. Like Judah Simpson, she's a proud Welsh citizen. So Misha McNeil from Consett, County Durham, and Mika Moore behind her from Cardiff in Wales. There's another Welshman, Bruce, helping with the sled at the front. Bruce Tasker.
Watch the way the runner tips. They're a little bit of a rough transition, but didn't hit the wall. But she had a problem there.
Yeah.
Going into that straightaway 9-10.
A big skid off 7.
That was worth a lot of time right there.
And then Kristen Strack of Germany.
So next up is Germany's Mariama Yamanka. I shall reset myself. Mariama Yamanka with another new brake woman in the German lineup, and Kristen Strack.
Her
That's our chance to
debut,
say,
right?
yeah, it is for Anne Kristen. And this is the only German sled that made the race. Stephanie Schneider cracked her shoulder and didn't do the final day of training.
They say she'll be ready in a couple of weeks.
Well, they're heading after this back to do sled testing like the men are in Germany.
She came here last year out of nowhere, and she did well. Everybody was very surprised.
Then coach Christoph Ranker was determined that she would do all the tracks and learn as much as possible in her rookie season, with no expectations on her shoulders.
Coached now by Matthias Hoffman, German pilot. Ooh, that was
Oh,
not good.
yikes!
She's got to get set right here, because here comes the challenge. Ooh, that's way too high. Watch out on
Very
the outlet.
high. She's got
No,
it
but she
off.
controlled that well.
Yeah, she got it off. I
She
don't know
worked
how,
out.
but
Yeah,
she
she
got
set
it
up
off.
well for 11.
Wow, she's got reflexes, that's for sure.
87.9. Exit, bang. 9th. Wow.
Well, she was in 3rd spot early on, but for
4th best start time. 91
corner
out.
6 and 7 on, it kind of got away from her.
3,500s behind the 2 Korean sleds. Boy, those Korean sleds, men or women, those sleds are fast. But, you know, this is about World Cup points and experience, and they like her as a driver. Watch this. Look at the transition. Look at the heads.
The
Not
exit
bad. It's
there,
pretty quiet.
That was one of the better corners.
And then here.
Here's this. Look, she's in sideways, and then somehow, oh, it hits the wall. I was wondering, how did she flick it around like
That's
that?
25 or 30 hundredths there. You
Yeah.
know, then look at the speed and the gold rush Look at this.
She picked up more speed between the tracks than Kaylee Humphries did.
Wow,
that's how good that FES sled is.
They got a 100-meter zone down there that they measure. That's how we get that data. Awesome stuff that people from Swiss Timing are presenting us.
So next up is Canada's Alicia Rissling. Melissa Lottholtz we know well, but Riss, very new to the World Cup.
She's been buying her time on that America's Cup, doing North America's Cup, doing well. Gets in low, boy, then you see her exit here. Good start. Decent exit, great start, second best start. Yeah, she knows the track well. She could be in a top 3 position here with good lines.
She too is from Edmonton, Alberta, and this is her World Cup debut as well.
She's pretty good. She knows 7, then she went to 12, so this should be less than 20. It's good.
So the Canadian 3-sled lineup, a double Olympic champion.
This is good.
2
This is a good run.
This is a great run. 1100s behind Kaylee Humphries.
She was 12, so she gets good lines here through the. Well, that's not a good line.
Bit of a slap.
Vicious.
Still within
Watch
a
out.
10th.
No, she's.
Alicia Rissling, what a debut slide this is.
There.
It may not end up being second place, but
no, not very good speed at the
plenty
bottom.
of entertainment.
Still third,
Top
though.
3 on your debut. Yeah, there you go. Well, 5:16. What a great start with Melissa Lottholtz behind her.
Well, I was very
Kaylee Humphries, #1 brake woman all last season. Yeah.
Very impressed with her at the top of the track. She got away from her about curve 9, 10, and 11, but didn't have very good speed down below.
Yeah.
She's about 3 kilometers down at the best speed.
Didn't
2
get
miles
that
an
far
hour
away,
down.
did it?
Here, watch this hit.
Yeah, big slap.
Bang. Now the sled, you know, but she didn't try and steer away from anything. She hit hard and just went on. Okay, now, did she get on the 50-50? Yeah, nice. Look at that. Nice, smooth take on.
There's Melissa Lottholtz, and still with a helmet on, Alicia Rissling. That's the way to make your debut. Ring a few bells, take a few names. Well, familiar faces in the second of our US sleds, or third of our US sleds. Jamie Grubel-Poser and Lauren Gibbs. Gibbs getting the #1 start with Jamie Grubel-Poser to kick off the season. This is our 14th and final sled in the first heat.
Track and field athletes, both from the Ivy League.
Brown
Jamie
and
from
Cornell.
And Lauren from Brown. In fact, Lauren was a volleyball player. Take that back. Well, we should see a good start here. Should be 5:13, maybe better. 11, great.
5:11.
Watch the runner tips here.
5:11. You mean the old track record?
They got broke twice today.
I think we undersold that a little. 5:11. She's 100th away from Kaylee Humphries.
She's in the green now. So, I mean, her teammate was 3,500ths ahead.
Yeah.
So we know these sleds are flying.
Well, if she can keep this Campgrounds of America sled on its runners all the way down, she is on target to lead the first heat. Big slap. Really close with Kaylee
Watch the
Humphries.
speed here.
200ths of a second in it. This could go
Only
either way.
88.6. This would be good enough for second.
She will be second by a whisker, 1200s back. We have a race on our hands, and it is not Alana Myers-Taylor who is in second place, but it is Jamie Grubel-Poser. 5:11. That is a big getaway.
I think both those U.S. coaches are very happy to see these two arrive at the finish line intact.
I think there were probably fewer question marks.
It gets away from her here. Bang, hard hit, but she doesn't steer away, and she has a decent line into that shiver, and then
That's
this
a
is
hold
the
it off
exit.
shiver a bit.
This is the exit. Look, you saw the articulation split there. The articulation allows the sled to get on the curve, get off the curve, on the take-on, on the outlet.
So Jamie Grubel-Poser and Lauren Gibbs are lying in second place ahead of Christina Hengster and Sanna Decker. But our race is being led by the woman who won the Olympic gold medal here, Kaylee Humphries, with Cynthia Appiah on the #1 Canadian sled, our race leader. 1800ths of a second cover the top 3. Canada's rookie Alicia Rissling lies in an amazing 4th place after the first of our 2 heats. They will go away and compose compose themselves, think about where they can find a little bit more speed, and that goes as much for Kaylee Humphries as for her pursuers, because that is tight at the top. 1800s cover the top three. Riss in fourth position. Nadezhda Sergeva for Russia ahead of rookie Brittany Reinbold, or second-time World Cup starter Brittany Reinbold. Her nerves would have been jangling before that sixth place run, but she will be calmer now. Both Korean sleds in the top 10, rounded out by Misha McNeil, and then Mariama Yamanka, Christine De Bruyne and Maria Adela Constantin for Romania. We will not see Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones racing in the second heat. But join us for all the action to see who will take away the first gold medal of the Women's Bobsled World Cup season. They will be back on ice at 30 minutes after the hour.